New reports indicate that the Pope met with a same-sex couple prior to meeting with Kim Davis, and one of the people that he met with was a longtime friend of his that he taught back in the day. Now, according to the reports, Yayo Grassi, an openly gay man, brought his partner as well as several other friends to the Vatican Embassy on September 23rd for a brief visit with the Pope. A video of the meeting shows Grassi and Francis meeting each other with a warm hug. All right, so we actually have a picture of the two of them together.
Are they touching?
They're touching.
And he's gay?
He's gay.
Oy.
I love this story because I remember when he met with Kim Davis, of course, a lot of people were criticizing him for it. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what the meeting was about. I didn't know if the Pope set it up. And it turns out that now the Vatican is releasing a statement saying him meeting with Kim Davis is not an endorsement of what she's done. He just met with her. But in the case of Grasso, he planned this meeting. He went out of his way to schedule a meeting with him because they knew each other in Argentina, right? So in the past, they had a really complicated relationship because the Pope wasn't very supportive of same-sex marriage. He was a lot more judgmental, I guess, and so he was called out on it, and the Pope kind of backtracked a little bit, which is admirable, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rare statement there from the Vatican going, hey, I met with her. That was not a show of support. I mean, they slammed down the conservatives who were rejoicing in that moment as much as effectively as they could. You know, I mean, the Pope deliberately doesn't get overly political, but you didn't have to read very far between the lines to get the point that they were saying, I got it, met with her, do not take that as an endorsement.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then we find out here that he met with a same-sex couple that he knew. Was a same-sex couple. Right.
I love that. And look, he obviously seems a little more progressive than previous popes. And some people are questioning that. But the fact that he has this friend, I think, has played a role in shaping his perception of gay people. And that's important. I think that's one of the reasons why there's a lot more openness and a lot more tolerance toward gay individuals today than 5 years ago. It's because everyone knows someone who's gay. And
trust me, every past pope for the last 200 years has known a lot of people who are gay.
Yeah.
Especially the one right before this one. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they have, but were they as close as this pope was with Grassi? Because it seems like they had a really good relationship. Now, here's what Yayo Grassi told the media. He says 3 weeks before the trip, he, meaning the Pope, called me on the phone and said he would love to give me a hug. Grassi said the Pope has long known that he is gay, but has never condemned his sexuality or his same-sex relationship. So, I don't know. I think this is good news. I like that.
No, it's great.
It's good news. Nice Pope.
He's good at poping. By the way, that statement about he's doing some serious pope. Pope did not enter into the details of the situation with Mrs. Davis. His meeting with her should not be considered a form of support of her position in all of its particular and complex aspects. I just like the careful nature of that statement. Interestingly, Grassi and the Pope had a bit of a falling out, though, in 2010 during Argentina's battle over same-sex relationships, because at that point, the Pope said, again, remember, at that time he's a cardinal in the Catholic Church, and he did say, suggested that same-sex marriage is the work of the devil. And this guy, do you have that letter? Or?
I do,
okay.
I do. So apparently, so this is during Argentina's heated debate over same-sex marriage back in 2010. Grassi chastised the Pope for opposing gay rights. At one point, the future pontiff suggested that same-sex marriage was the work of evil, right?
Right.
So apparently, Grassi wrote to the Pope and said, "You have been my guide, continuously moving my horizons. You have shaped the most progressive aspects of my worldview, and to hear this from you is so disappointing."
Yeah, and then the Pope wrote back, not the Pope then, just a cardinal then, and he said he was sorry that he had upset him and that homophobia had no place in the Catholic Church.
Nor does gay marriage, according to the Pope, still today.
Right,
yeah, totally.
That's true. I mean, look, the Pope can't come forward and be like, yo, everyone, I support same-sex marriage. I don't even know if he does support same-sex marriage.
First of all,
he doesn't, because he's the Pope. But couldn't he just make a ruling?
He couldn't make a ruling. He couldn't change church doctrine without...
Why not? Isn't he supposed to have a direct line to God? Isn't that what makes him the Pope?
But what he could do is he could say it.
Yeah.
I mean, he could say whatever he wants. He can't change church direction without however the hell they do it.
The Pope tells him to.
Right. But that said, nonetheless, we don't have to read, to me, we don't have to read far between the lines to, again, see this guy has these different points of emphasis.
Yeah.
And everything is generally a process. And if the Catholic Church ever turns around on some significant issues, if they ever decide, okay, we're not allowing abortion, but birth control's fine, and we're not, as he's already made clear, we're not busy condemning gay people, we're not busy condemning women who've had abortions. If they ever change significantly, it will have begun with Pope Francis.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in a day. And so these are small stepping stones, but stepping stones nonetheless.
Who released this video?
Of that meeting?
Of them meeting, yeah.
I have no idea. It's a very brief video.
Well, I'm sure the meeting of him meeting with Kim Davis was arranged by the person who tricked him into going, here's a woman, she was put in jail for Christianity. Quick, Pope, take a picture with her.
Right.
Explain it in 10 words or less. And the Pope was like, oh, my child, it's so nice to meet you. And boom, she's out the room already.
Yeah, I guess.
That's all it is.
But anyway, so it's but this was a nice comeback to the Kim Davis meeting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was good.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to something.
And good for this Yayo Grassi for like he was like, this is his idol. He knows it's a cardinal, and he was like, hey, no, this is wrong. Like, you mean something to me, and this was a lousy thing to do. And the Pope wrote back, and it's nice. It's nice when grown-ups behave like grown-ups, even when one of the grown-ups, in this case the Pope, is wrong.
By the way, a few weeks ago, the Pope received a letter from a child author, or a woman who writes children's books. And she's a lesbian. She's in a same-sex relationship. And so she writes to the Pope and kind of talks about, you know, the intolerance toward the gay community by the Catholic Church. And the Pope had written back to her and basically blessed her and was very open-minded toward her. And so she spoke to the press and shared the letter that the Pope wrote back. And immediately the Catholic Church started, you know, doing damage control. Like, no, he's not supportive of gay marriage. No, he's not this. But I feel like he's kind of being held back by the standards within the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's difficult, even if you're the Pope, even if you're the leader of the Catholic Church, it's difficult to change the way things have been done for so long. It has to happen little by little, and I feel like there's a little bit of hope with him.